Hi, Red Oak second graders. It is Mrs. Wilkerson. And as soon as our presentation pops up, there it goes. So we're going to talk today about using the context clues you learned about on Monday and text features to determine the meaning of academic words and phrases. So I'm going to read that again with you guys. Ready? Read it with me. I can determine the meaning of academic words and phrases. So the way we learn is through doing things and experiencing things, but also through our reading. We learn about all kinds of social studies and science topics just by reading. And with that comes a lot of new vocabulary words. So a skill that's very important to have is to be able to figure out what words mean as you read them, because again, that's how we learn. So, three ways that we can figure out what new academic words mean when you're reading like a science article or a social studies article are to use your context clues, just like we talked about on Monday. And remember, context means around. So you look for the other words and phrases around the unknown word or the new word. We also want to use pictures and other text features like diagrams or bold words. And finally, you can also always use a dictionary or a glossary. And remember, a glossary is like a little dictionary about one text. All right, guys, so we're going to switch gears here, and I'm going to pull up a Old Scholastic News article, and it is about coconuts and how they're the seed of a palm tree. So I'm going to have them read it to you just because I like how they'll highlight it one word at a time, but I'm going to pause it when we come to some of those new words so that we can talk about what they mean and how we can figure that out.
Go, go, coconut. A coconut takes an ocean voyage to find the right place to grow. Don't ever stand under a coconut tree. A coconut seed is big and heavy. When it falls, look out below. The coconut seed lands under the tree, but it won't stay there. A seed needs to go to a sunny place to grow into a new plant. It is too shady under this tree, so the coconut seed will travel to a better spot. It will travel across the ocean. The coconut goes. A wave washes up on the beach and picks up the coconut seed. The seed floats on the wave and heads out to sea. The seed has everything it needs for its long journey. It has air inside to help it float. It has a thick outer shell to keep seawater out.
Okay, so I wanted to pause it there to talk about the word shell. So when I think of the word shell, I think of like shells on a beach and a turtle shell. And then I see in this sentence the phrase thick outer. And that makes sense with what I'm picturing, like a turtle shell or a shell on a beach. So in this case, the shell just must mean the thick outer part of the seed, just like a turtle shell. So I'm also making connection to other words that I know.
It even has food and water for the baby plant that lives inside. Every seed has a baby plant inside. The coconut's baby plant is tiny now, but it will get bigger once it finds just the right place to grow. The coconut lands and grows. One day, the coconut washes up on a new beach. Time for the baby plant to eat and drink. Have you ever eaten coconut flakes on your dessert? Have you ever drunk coconut water? Those are the coconut seeds' food and water. The baby plant gets energy from this food and water. It gets enough energy to grow a shoot and a root.
Okay, so I see that word shoot here, and when I see the word shoot, I think of like shooting a basketball, but that doesn't make too much sense with what I'm reading about. Now, I see in this subheading or subtitle right here, it says the shoot breaks free. And I can even see down here in the caption that it also talks about the shoot. So I'm going to keep reading and see if this section can tell me a little bit more about what a shoot is.
The shoot breaks free. The leafy shoot pushes its way through the outer shell of the coconut. The roots push out too. The roots grow down into the sand and soil. They soak up water and nutrients. The shoot grows up toward the sun. It gets energy from the sun to help it grow.
Okay, so I definitely feel comfortable saying at this point that a shoot must be like a stem, because I can see it in this picture. It looks just like a stem, and it says here the coconut grows a shoot, and it talks about how the shoot grows up towards the sun. So I really think that it's like the stem of the plant.
The shoot will grow into a coconut palm tree. The long journey.
Okay, so I see now the shoot is eventually going to turn into the trunk, like I see over here in the adult tree. Pretty cool.
Journey has paid off. The little tree now has a place of its own, where it can soak up sun and water. In a few years, the new tree will have seeds of its own. Look out below. Aaron Kelly. A closer look. Coconut. The coconuts you see in the store often have had their outer shells and husks removed. Take a look at the whole picture.
Okay, so here there's the word husks highlighted. And the author gave us a diagram, which is a picture with labels, to show us exactly what part of the coconut the husk is. So they're showing us right here. So we know from our earlier reading that the shell is the outer part right here. And again, it's labeled there, hard shell, and then the husk. So the husk is kind of like the in-between space of the coconut between the shell and the inner shell and the part of the coconut that we're familiar with. So I know as this has been reading and you guys have been listening to me talk about how to figure out the words, what the words mean, I know you've been dying on me to click this little video and for you guys to see about how a coconut travels. So I'm going to end with you guys being able to watch this little video.